Okay, well, I want to apologize preemptively that some videos may do a little bit of an extended preface to explain Aaron's background because some people are like very confused, like who is Aaron, who is this, who's that. I'll try to keep it brief. So Aaron runs a big YouTube channel called Growing Up in Scientology. That is technically true. He did grow up in Scientology because it took a big vacation from Scientology, but that's another story for another time. So Aaron is very hard to categorize and simplify, but essentially he worked on the Aftermath TV show years ago with Mike Rinder, who was his mentor. And Rinder died recently. In his final videos, he made a lot of accusations against Aaron, which are true, but I'm going to be fair and play devil advocate here. But essentially, Aaron has been caught in a lot of scandals the last couple of years, and he's trying to reframe himself. And it is very hard to defend him because it just is really strange. So technically, he is still married with several daughters, but he's had several affairs. And one of them is with Jenna Miscavige, who is the niece of David Miscavige, one of, to put him mildly, the high-ranking, powerful figures in Scientology, the official church of Scientology. So Jenna left years ago and did some activism against Scientology, but then basically retired to raise her family. And she's done a recent set of videos essentially attacking her brothers and trying to explain why she's estranged from her brother Sterling, her brother Justin, and her mother Biddy. And it gets even more weird and complicated because only a while ago, Liz Gale, one of her friends, made these threats against one man and his daughter and Biddy, and saying that she would be physically violent towards them. So it's all very, very strange. And the basic gist of her videos was to try to revise history, that basically she was not being supported as much as she wanted to by her brothers. They were making all these weird demands, which she didn't like, and that she is the victim, and that she has to move away from all of her family. So it might seem all very personal, silly inter-drama between all these various figures, but there's more at stake. One is that these are public charities. I mean, good or bad. Scientology, the Aftermath Foundation, the Rinder Foundation, and now even Aaron's SPTV Foundation are technically being subsidized by you and me. So I'm not a big fan of fascism. I don't think it's a good idea. And that's essentially what's being pushed here. I mean, it's a very weird kind of fascism, like this very odd personality cult that Aaron has developed around himself. But that's exactly what's going on. And from what I understand, Aaron and Jenna don't even really like one another. I mean, Jenna put out a series of videos, which she's gotten rid of, in January, where she accused Aaron of being abusive. So it's just so strange and odd. And some things I know for a fact she's lying about. So I'm try to maintain people's privacy because I do know a few things. So I can confirm some things, but I can't really go too much into detail. And even for channel members, for the channel memberships, I do go into some more detail, but this one I can give a little bit more, but not much more. Because in one of these videos, or in one section of these series of videos, Jenna puts a lot of blame on Lindsay, one of Aaron's victims. Now, if I remember correctly, Jenna did not name the person, but it's pretty obvious who she was talking about. And again, I can only say that Jenna's lying. Jenna's lying about Lindsay. She's lying about Aaron. Like, why is she lying? That's the more intriguing question. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what they're doing. But it seems that they're trying to, quote, dead agent a lot of people. That's a technical term in Scientology to kind of destroy the credibility and make someone unbelievable. Like, you're not going to believe or like or have any credibility with what they say. But again, why they're doing this? But they're doing it to a lot of people. So now we don't believe Sterling, we don't believe Lindsay, we don't believe Justin, we don't believe a lot of the Miscavige family, and we don't believe a lot of Aaron's critics. And that's a lot of people. We're talking like dozens of people who have no credibility to Jenna, no credibility to Aaron because they will it to be so. And since Lindsay has spoken out about this, I'm just gonna try to reiterate some points. Again, there's a lot of history going on here. I'm only going to tap into a little bit because there's a lot. There's a lot. Let me just get to some of the direct lying. So Jenna claims that Lindsay called her ugly. Lindsay says, yes, she did call her ugly. Why is this even a problem? I don't know, but Jenna was really upset at being called ugly. Also, that this person was threatening her and her children. No. What happened apparently is Lindsay jokingly was saying she would confront Aaron. Again, I want to emphasize it's not just that this is Aaron's ex-lover. she's been with Aaron socially quite a few times, right? There's even pictures of them going out with one another. And remember, Aaron's married, although he told these various girlfriends that he was telling them that he and his wife had an open relationship. And apparently that's just not true. Basically, he dictated to his wife, well, I'm going to have these affairs, and you're going to have to tolerate that. Okay? So we're not having any evidence that Heather really approves of this. The most we got is that in a very, well, you can only call it Stalinistic performance, Aaron had someone, a woman on her channel say, hey, there's all these texts from Heather, and she's okay with this. It's like, it's very, very weird propaganda going on here. Okay, so no, Lindsay was not threatening Jenna's children. Also, this doesn't even make any sense because Liz Gale was doing the same thing. Jenna was laughing at that. Like Liz Gale was full on threatening someone and a child. Jenna was just laughing at it. She didn't care. So again, a lot of what Jenna's just saying is just flatly a lie. Even without Lindsay, just her own actions and her own testimony, these are all lies. So it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so Lindsay was talking about Aaron, that maybe her and Aaron would have a confrontation, and that never happened. There was no confrontation. But she was jokingly saying they might have a confrontation. And now Jenna saying, well, that's with her. So this is just a pervasive thing with the ex-Scientologists. And again, having had some run-ins with these ex-Scientologists, I can speak from experience. I'm not going to name names, but they have this very strong entitlement mentality and this victimology they suffer from. And they just like making demands on. Some of the demands are reasonable. Some of the demands are like, no, that's not reasonable. And again, some of these people are wonderful. They're good people, but a lot of them are they just are what they are. They're very conspiracy minded, paranoid, and they just want you to do this, this, and this. And they're just like barking orders. And they're like, okay, well, you can bark your orders, but guess what? We have free will, and I don't really care about this, or that is not my concern. And anyway, you have your own channel, you have your own format, you have your own way of speaking out. If you want to do this, you want to do that, you do it. I really don't care anymore. And they just have a very hard time accepting no, saying, no, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do that. And that's the end of it. And that's it. And again, Jenna seems to have that mindset that she is the queen, they are royalty, and they need to be obeyed. And there you go. But what is the purpose? I don't know. I would assume the obvious. There's a lot more scandals. And I mean, part of this is the Liz Gale scandal. I've covered that. If you want more information, I have other videos on that. But at the same time, why now? I guess it's the timing that's a little weird. I mean, for a while, we've been wondering because Sterling was on Aaron's SPT Foundation and he had to leave. He did make it known that he didn't like Nora, he didn't like Serge, he didn't like a lot of what Aaron was platforming, and Aaron admitted as much. However, this part of it sounds very strange and odd because I was wondering like how Sterling, as Jenna's brother, could just stand by and let Aaron do what he does, and apparently he didn't like what Aaron was doing, but he's also very estranged from Jenna. So to me, Jenna's just coming off very crafty and manipulative, and this history she's revising doesn't really add up. I mean, again, it's just not Lindsay's testimony. She's offered texts, right? She's offered actual valid evidence. And again, whether you like him or not, Mitch Brisker has added a lot too. So we do have external independent evidence. Again, whether it's that good or bad, you can decide for yourself. But we're just keep getting the same thing. Aaron threatening people behind the scenes. And Nora has confirmed this. And Nora also confirmed that Jenna and her are much closer than people believe. Like, apparently their children were playing with one another. Nora has her children, and Jenna has her children. Apparently they were playing together. So Jenna's just now radically revising everything, where people she was close to, they're more distant for whatever reason, and she's just making stuff up about threats. She doesn't give any evidence at all, just her testimony. She's like, this is what really happened, guys. This really happened. Do you have anything? Like receipts, texts, emails? Not as far as I know. And again, some of these things she's saying, I think, are credible. They do seem true. They might be able to be verified. But she doesn't try to. She doesn't say, okay, for a fact, this did happen. Okay, here's the evidence. She just says, this is what happened. I'm telling the truth. That's it. And you're like, okay, well, we've been through this rodeo a few too many times. So It'd be nice if we had some strong evidence for these claims, because so far we are dead agenting these various people. Why are we doing that? I don't know. I don't know. But at this point, I would take what Jenna is saying with a lot of caution, and Lindsay is saying, no, that's not what happened. So she's directly contradicting a lot of what Jenna asserted. But you're going to have to decide for yourself. And again, I want to be very clear that Nora has often lied. She's often been very manipulative. But believe it or not, I would believe her here with Jenna, because again, a lot of what Jenna's saying does not match up the testimony of too many other people, whether Rinder, Lindsay, now Nora. It just doesn't make sense. You'd have to assume that all those people are lying together. But believe me, Nora does not like Mike Rinder at the moment. So it's just not adding up. It's not adding up. But I would just end with one final fact correct, that Nora was speaking out about Mike Rinder, and that's why she was punished. No, people were speaking out against Rinder long before her, long before her. And even the critics of Mike Rinder, she's attacking them as crazy. So Nora is exaggerating her own role in this. That said, that's just Nora and her egomania. But I would have to say she has maintained a lot of consistency here of helping some of Aaron's victims. I wish she was more consistent, but there we are. So I would take a lot of what Jenna said with a huge grain of salt. I don't know what's going on here, but this is propaganda history. It's not the real history. It's a very manufactured history. Why is she manufacturing this history? I don't quite know, but it is very manufactured, presumably to benefit Aaron, in my humble estimation.